At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. You're watching Coffee with Krueger. Take a look at this. This is last night from Dairyville, right here in the North State. Melissa sent this image from the free Weather NorCal app. I want to thank her for sharing this image. Look at that. Now, most of us wonder mostly cloudy skies. I know for me, all I could see was a little faint of the aurora through the clouds, but nothing quite as spectacular as this. Take a look at Castle from Bryan. Also kind of filtered through the clouds. I'm sure it would have been much more spectacular if we didn't see any clouds out there. This is out in Viola. Also, a look at some of those clouds out there. Take a look at this. This is in Colorado. So it wasn't just here in Northern California, but all across the nation. Now, Matt in Colorado is part of the National Weather Network. That's part of what I'm a part of as well. It's a growing national weather network for digital stations like that of Weather NorCal. And Matt, as part of the group, shared this photo. Check that out. You can see those streaks and those yellows, really nice yellows coming at the bottom there. This is also Doug from Missouri, part of the National Weather Network, shared this photo with the group. And I wanted to share this with you. This is out from his front yard. Look at the lights, how bright the lights are on the houses, but the aurora was so vibrant and so beautiful that even the lights couldn't overshine it. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, as far south as the Florida Panhandle. Also, Dan is from the National Weather Group, shared this photo with the group, and I'm sharing it with you here. And you can see those colors in there. I mean, just an amazing view from all of that. And of course, there were reports as far south as Texas seeing the aurora. So it was gorgeous. Now, here's the crazy part, folks. There are rumors, and it sounds like we could be looking at a repeat again here for tonight. But the problem for us is it'll probably be even more cloudy than it was last night. We'll see. I'm sure going to keep my eye to the sky. I'm going to be checking it out. By the way, if you want to share your photos, I got a lot of great photos from you from the free Weather NorCal app. So the first ones that you saw from Dairyville, Castle, and Viola, those were sent through the free Weather NorCal app. So I want to thank them for sharing the photos. You can share your photos from the free Weather NorCal app as well on your iPhone or your Android. Just search for Weather NorCal. Put a space between those two words, by the way, Weather NorCal, and download the app for free. Very cool. I just loved it. Another thing I love is this great tradition we have here in Redding. It's the Cascade Christmas. Now, if you've ever gone to the show, you know how spectacular and wonderful the show is. It is just an amazing production. And this has been going on for years, folks. There are 6 shows this month, November 21st through the 23rd and the 28th through the 30th. These tickets, they sell fast. So I want you to go to cascadetheater.org today, right now, or after you watch the show, and reserve your tickets. Get them now before they sell out. All right, let's take a look at our weather headlines, and you can see it. Today is the transition from the warm and dry conditions to a cool and unsettled weather pattern. Now tonight, and especially Thursday morning, will be the main event. And I say that in the sense that that's when we expect the heaviest rainfall and the strongest winds. Gusty winds. Now snow levels, you may recall even the last few days, I was talking about snow levels as low as 4,500 feet. It's beginning to look now more like it's going to be above 6,000 feet. But this cool and unsettled weather pattern, once it sets in, it's going to settle in for quite a while. We'll get into all of that a little bit later in our deeper dive, but first, here's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. For those of you who just want to know what to expect today, here's what you got. Right now, as you're heading out the door, right now, temperatures upper 40s to low 50s in the valley, mainly in the 30s. Now, it has cleared out a little bit for some of you in the mountains. That's why you're down to 31 in Bernie, but 35 out in Susanville, 32 for Chester. Low to mid 50s right now along the coast. All right, we take a look at what we expect out the door this morning. Hi, how you doing this morning? Thought I'd kind of get my image up there. Out the door this morning, there you can see the mostly cloudy skies. Got a couple of people saying good morning as well. Barry and Lisa and Curtis. Pretty cool. Yeah, Curtis also got to see that geomagnetic storm. All right, so there you can see it's cloudy this morning in many cases, but it is going to be a dry start to the day. It's going to be dry. So you can see where the clouds are coming from, and this is something I talked about yesterday. It's coming from an area of low pressure that's now kind of weakening, but it's helping to really draw in a lot of the clouds. But you see that little dry slot that we saw last night and early this morning. You see right there, that clearing slot that we did get to see, but now the clouds are kind of filling back in. You'll also notice a few showers that are developing in the Pacific Northwest and just west of the coast. We will eventually see maybe some of those showers developing later this afternoon. And behind the cold front, behind that blue line that you see there, see this counterclockwise spin? That is in a pretty intense area of low pressure. It is digging and digging to the south, getting stronger and stronger. So hour by hour, let's take a look at the HRRR forecast model. We'll take a look at our other model here a little bit later, but there it is. There you can see, of course, the mostly cloudy skies we're seeing this morning throughout the day. Midday, look at this. Most of the rain is still off the coast here. Then we take you into the afternoon, and you see how we're starting to see a few of these light showers develop. I'm more in line with what the HRRR is showing here. A sprinkle, a light shower late this afternoon, but that's it. The main band of rain is still off to our west, and that will be approaching overnight tonight. But even by 10 o'clock tonight, it's not very wet out there. The forecast models are now really backing off on the timing of this rain and how quickly it moves in. And that also means that it's going to take a little bit longer for the winds to materialize. However, there will be some gusty winds for central Siskiyou County today. High-profile vehicles, if you drive a big rig, do note if you're heading through Siskiyou County today on I-5, gusty winds. You'll need to be careful. Now, the winds do pick up this afternoon, but nothing terrible. Most of those winds will be north and west of the valley, right? And then they should start to really pick up later tonight, tomorrow. Just wanted to show you this. As I mentioned, the main event is tomorrow morning. Then after that, we're just a cool and unsettled weather pattern. Look at the chances for rain. It's pretty minimal. You're between 10 and 30% for Friday through next Tuesday, and really even going into next week. So a cool and unsettled weather pattern. We are going to have a classic weather pattern set up. So for today, mostly cloudy, mainly dry. Maybe a passing sprinkle later this afternoon and evening. Heavier rainfall late tonight, early tomorrow morning. So tonight, with the added cloud cover, temperatures in the mid-50s, give or take, for the valley. 40s. No 30s. Look at, well, there are 30s. Chester 36, 39 for Lassen Park. But we're having a hard time getting into the 30s. We're mainly in the 40s for the mountains. Low to mid-50s for the coast. All right, so let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. Kind of a busy 7-day forecast. This is one of those 7-day forecasts. I can guarantee you that what you see, maybe even in my evening update, will be different than what you're seeing here. Tomorrow, it'll be different. And the reason being is we are dealing with a fairly complicated weather pattern. It's complicated in the sense that it's not going to bring us a ton of rainfall outside of what we see tonight, tomorrow morning, but just a kind of a cool and unsettled pattern. These weak systems approaching, and the positioning of these weak systems will determine whether or not we see rain, and how cool it will get, whether or not we see clearing. But this is a classic cool and unsettled weather pattern that we typically see in the winter, and even sometimes this time of the year. And what does cool and unsettled mean? Well, that means cooler temperatures, a mix of sun and clouds at times, and at times you'll see showers. So again, especially after tomorrow, we are going to probably see some changes in that overall weather pattern. But it does look like, at least for the weekend, looking fairly dry. I'd say best chances for rain on Sunday will probably be late in the day into Monday, and then maybe dry again next Tuesday. That's Krueger's Quickcast. If that's all you needed, have a great day. If not, you want to stick around, get more detail on what's going on, hey, let's check it out. So looks like you can see Lake Oroville, North Forebay. There you have it. Looks like we're looking at some clouds out there this morning. Taking a look at Main Street, Chico, Highway 32, excuse me. Looks like not a lot of traffic out there this morning. Now, a lot of people may have had the last few days off, but now it's back to the old grind on your Wednesday. I know my son is going back to school. He was off yesterday and even on Monday. Very nice for him. Very nice for the kids at school. I didn't have the last few days off. Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. Well, of course, you've got the typical traffic we see this time of the day. And there's a look at Crescent City Harbor District. Overcast skies this morning. but no rain. We will eventually see that rain, though, coming in later tonight. All right, let's take a look at some other cameras. This is Bald Hill West, socked in with that fog. In fact, just before I came on, there was a dense fog advisory that was issued for western Siskiyou County. And that's going to mainly be many of the mountain valleys. There's a look at Soda Ridge. There's the crags. Oh, crags, beautiful. Look at that, socked in, no big surprises there. That is looking at Scott Valley, just socked in with that fog this morning. Very dense. That'll burn off, though, later on. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Actually have some clearing out at Lassen Park this morning. This is out at the South Entrance Visitor Center. Beautiful. And remember, last week, snow. Even the snow on the mountain peaks there melted. But we'll probably see more snow, probably up around this elevation, as we get into tonight and tomorrow. But it's going to be kind of that slushy snow. All right, today's Wednesday. We have got our Grange Co-op Spotlight. And this week, we're going to learn about their dog washing station. Pretty cool. It's at the front of the store. Check it out. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Krueger and you are watching Grange Co-op Spotlight. With me right now, I have got Joey. Of course, you are here at Grange Co-op. Welcome.
Nice, thank you.
We appreciate your time here. Now, we are in the dog washing section, right? This is what's going on. So tell us what's going on here. How does all this work? This looks like to be kind of the main area. So how does that work?
Yeah, so that's the control panel, I guess. The way it works is you would go up to the register and you can buy a $10 token that gives you 10 minutes. But if you need more time, you can add it on with your card here. You have 6 basic options: your shampoo, your rinsing, conditioner, flea wash in case your dog has fleas. You also have blow dry low and blow dry high, but if your dog has any troubles with blow dryers, which I know mine does, we do have towels to dry off your dog as well.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. This is something that most people really have an easy time figuring out, right? It's pretty basic.
Yeah, we haven't had too much trouble with it. And if a customer ever does have any questions, we're always available to help them out.
That's awesome, because sometimes technology can be a little intimidating, but it seems like this is pretty simple. So yeah, come on out here at Grange Co-op. If you have a dirty, smelly dog, this is a great place to go. And it looks like it's all pretty well contained here. They got all these great options. So come on by to Grange Co-op for your dog washing needs. We'll see you. Thank you, Debbie. Oh, man, I appreciate that. I'm going to go back just because we need to really appreciate our sponsors. Again, I want to thank Grange Co-op for being our newest sponsor. That sponsored the Grange Co-op Spotlight. You saw that dog washing. Pretty neat what they have over there, that latest technology. So it sounds like you just go to the register, pay for a card. You take that card, put it in that into that machine, and it takes care of you from there. So pretty cool. Also want to mention another one of our sponsors, Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and game machines. All right, that's, Wind River has been the sponsor of Coffee with Krueger since day one, so we're very much appreciative of their sponsorship. All right, let's take a look at our weather headlines. Today's the transition day from warm and dry conditions to cool and unsettled conditions. Now, we're not going to see a lot of rain today. It's not until tonight, tomorrow. So really, tonight, tomorrow morning, and really it's going to be mostly when a lot of you are asleep and waking up when the heaviest rainfall and strongest winds are be pushing through. And speaking of those winds, gusts 40, 50, even 60 miles per hour, snow levels are going to be higher than originally anticipated. I'd say above 6,000 feet, cool and unsettled, pretty much going through next week. The thing is, Once this cool and unsettled weather pattern settles in, it's going to stick around for a while. All right, now it's time to get into our deeper dive forecast. What is that, you say? Well, for those of you that are new to the channel, at the very top, even during my regular video updates that I do during the day, I start the 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. with a quick forecast. For those of you in a hurry, just a quick forecast for the day, you're good to go. Deep dive, what I'm known for is I kind of go pretty heavy, and I really just go into the details with the forecast. And we've got a sponsor for the deep dive forecast, and that is Shasta Hearing Aids.
Frank, come help with the dishes.
What?
The dishes!
I heard it the first time. I just got back from Shasta Hearing Aids, but she doesn't know it yet. What?
Forget it.
Once again, I want to thank Shasta Hearing Aids for their support of Weather NorCal, one of our newer sponsors. So the temperatures this morning, they're a little cool, but with the added cloud cover, that's keeping those temperatures fairly mild. However, there has been some clearing overnight for some of us, and that's why we're down to 33 for Chester, 39 for Alturas, 35 out in Susanville. We're actually below freezing in Bernie this morning at 31. You can see out towards the coast, low to mid 50s and upper 40s to low 50s here for the valley. 47 out in Weaverville and Hayfork, about 40 degrees for your current temperature. So here's your satellite image. Yesterday, we saw the clouds move in. Now, there was a little bit of a clearing slot. That's why last night, some of you were able to see the aurora borealis. Yes, filtered through those clouds a little bit here. We're going to see those clouds kind of fill back in here through the morning and afternoon. So a couple of things I want to point out. This cold front is where we have some of the strongest, some of the heaviest rainfall. That's all right here. Here's the heaviest rainfall. We have gusty winds along that cold front as well. That's when we see some of the strongest winds as it moves on through. But another thing to point out is, again, that little bit of a dry slot. The clouds will be moving through as we progress through the day. Low pressure right here. This has been just dive bombing to the south here and gaining strength, really. Now, this is eventually expected to kind of push off and break off from the main upper level flow, break off, and then really kind of push through Southern California, then move to the north and east. The forecast models tend to have a difficult time with these types of cutoff lows. So the placement and the timing of this area of low pressure is going to get a little tricky. So we'll watch that very closely, but let's get through this first as we go into tonight and into tomorrow. Now, I'm going to start with the long-range forecast model because I just want to show you the overall trend that we're seeing here. There's that cold front. Here's that low, and it's really beginning to already show signs of breaking away from that upper level flow. Here's the upper level flow. Ridge, trough, back to a ridge over here. We've been under that ridge, which is why it's been dry and warm, okay? So this, see how it kind of breaks off, and now we have a low diving to the south. That's by Friday. You see how Friday we're dry. The flow around this area of low pressure is not far north enough to bring us any rainfall. However, if this decides to push a little more to the north, now we've got rain on Friday. So we'll have to watch that closely. Okay, then it kind of pushes through Southern California, and then maybe by Sunday evening into Monday, we've got another round of the potential for some more showers. But again, that breaks off. We see low pressure dive down to the south into Southern California. Not all models agree that that's what's going to happen, but we're getting into a cool and unsettled weather pattern. And the thing is, the forecast models have been all over the place. Once tonight's and tomorrow morning's storm system passes through, we are just seeing the potential for showers each and every single day. But I think the best chances for dry conditions at this point look to be Friday and Saturday. Then by Sunday evening into Monday, maybe another round of showers, and then more unsettled weather, most likely going through next week. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Let's kind of show you through the timing of our in-house forecast model. Once again, the clouds on the increase. By 5 p.m., it is showing some showers. Now, remember, the HRRR wasn't quite as aggressive with how strong these showers will be. I think it'll be very light, sprinkles, light showers by late this afternoon. The main rain, though, the main batch of rain is still off to our west, and so are the winds. So you can see another little impulse kind of pushes through, but the main batch of rain, again, still off to our west. So 10 o'clock tonight, we're not really seeing much going on just yet. So that rain I've been talking about, some of you, if you don't watch today, you're going to say, well, where's all that rain he was talking about for tonight? Well, it will eventually get here. It's going to take its own sweet time, though, because there you go. By 6 a.m. now, really we're seeing, so as we go into the early morning hours, the heavier rainfall, the strongest winds will start to kind of pick up. The coast, probably a little bit before that, right? Because it hits you first. This is when we expect gusts of 30, 40, even over 50 miles per hour in some cases. There is the potential for some power outages, but we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in just a bit. So look at this. By 10 a.m., we got a pretty strong line of storms. We could see some lightning strikes as well through the morning hours. Still some pretty decent heavy rainfall, even in the mid-morning hours for the valley. Heavy rainfall to the east. And I say rainfall, look at this. Even 10 a.m. on Thursday, not much snow. Blue is where snow is. We're not seeing much of that just yet. Then eventually some cooler air will begin to move in, but still, even midday Thursday, still some decent rain for the valley, still some decent rain off to the east, but now this is the more cool and unsettled weather pattern that's back here. All right, so as we progress through Thursday, going to Thursday afternoon, you see now we're starting to see snow for some of the higher elevations, even out towards Mount Shasta, but that's still pretty high. I'd say snow levels through Thursday afternoon will most likely be above 6,000 feet. And then you can see still some heavier rainfall off to the east, but things are starting to kind of dry out a little bit here. Just some scattered showers by the second half of the day for the valley and even for the coast. Now, this is that area of low pressure that looks like it is going to dive down to the south. So you see how it kind of pushes to the south. As a result, we're not left with anything really. However, if it decides to push a little bit more closer to us, we could see some showers. So there may be some lingering showers Thursday night, Friday morning, maybe some fog developing, and then it kind of clears out. But once again, you see the flow around that area of low pressure is impacting just down to our south and east. So, you know, parts of the southeastern mountains here could see a chance for some showers. But if we decided, if the area of low pressure decides to move a little bit more to the north, then we can see some of that kind of rotate around here. But as of right now, looks fairly dry for your Friday. Saturday looks like it's more of the same. Probably just some high clouds out there. Maybe some low clouds and fog along the coast. You can see that towards Humboldt Bay, southward in the Highway 101 corridor. It looks like you're seeing some of that fog. But overall, I mean, through Saturday, looks dry. Now, this is where things are kind of interesting. Look where most of the rain is. Now, I'm not 100% on board with what these numbers are showing, but I am on board with where we're going to see most of the rainfall. And believe it or not, we're going to get more rainfall for the valley and even more to the north of the valley than the coast. And why is that? Well, simply because the main flow is pretty much coming from the southwest a little bit here. Typically, we've got more of a flow moving this way, so it kind of ramps up the mountains, and we see heavy rainfall along the coast, we see heavy rainfall along the north coast, and then we see shadowing in the valley, and then it kind of re-amplifies again in the eastern mountains. But with more of that southerly flow, that's going to mean more rain for the valley, and then we see some orographic lifting. That is, the winds blow up those mountains, creates more instability and tends to squeeze out more moisture, which is why we could see more rain there. And again, with that southwesterly flow of winds, we can see that here as well. However, you'll notice, as we typically do, and that's going to be the case with this storm as well, Modoc County, eastern Lassen, probably not seeing as much rainfall out of this. Now, we've been talking about snow, and, you know, a couple of days ago, I was thinking around 4,500 feet. It's been slowly climbing back up again. Now, as you can see here, we are going to be looking at, number one, a winter weather advisory, which did include yesterday Lassen and Plumas. That's been taken out because snow levels are going to be mainly above 6,000 feet, where we could see 4 to 8 inches of snow at that elevation, and more than that as you go into some of the higher mountain peaks. So if you watched even yesterday evening, it was showing the potential for Chester, Quincy, and Portola maybe seeing some minor accumulation. But now we're not seeing anything for some even the higher mountain communities. And on top of that, look how minimal it is. This is through Friday. And really, it's mainly just going to be tonight and tomorrow. Friday, you're not going to really see anything. So there it is. That's a whole lot of nothing. If you're traveling in the mountains here in the North State, I think you're going to be just fine. Even Cedar Pass doesn't look like we're going to see much going on up there. Maybe, just maybe, some of these eastern mountains here, some of the higher mountain passes there, could be maybe an issue on Thursday into Thursday night. But, I mean, west of I-5, Highway 36, Highway 299, Highway 3, even Scott Mountain Pass, most likely, I don't expect for you to see much in the way of snow up there either. But a bit of a different story for the Sierra. 1 to 2 feet of snow is possible for some of the summits, right? We're talking 8, 9, 10,000 feet. But we do have higher mountain passes. I mean, some of the mountain passes in the Sierra upwards of 6, 7, even 8,000 feet. So there's a very good chance that you will see some chain requirements there. So be prepared for that, especially Thursday into Friday. You've got that potential to see some chain requirements and some slowdown and some slower traffic as a result. Highway 50, Interstate 80, Highway 4, 108, 120, all of that, right? All of that potential of seeing some of that snow. All right, there's all kinds of wind advisories and high wind warning, the timing, the intensity. Rather than go into all of that, let's just talk about the winds and what we expect with them, okay? So here we are today. The winds will progressively get stronger. If you're driving on I-5 in a high-profile vehicle, say a big rig, do note you can see gusts 40, 50 miles per hour there, even by midday. That can, blow your truck from side to side, can be a little dangerous, so be aware of that. A little gusty off to the east. But overall, we're not looking at widespread winds just yet, even by the time we get into this evening. But by tonight, now we start to see those winds pick up. The coast first, and then eventually the valley. I think we could see gusts upwards of 40, maybe close to 50 miles per hour. The forecast models have been backing down on that intensity as well. And then midday Thursday, still a little gusty. Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, still a bit breezy, a little gusty at times, but then the winds should start to subside as we go into Friday, and especially for your Friday afternoon. That'll also be the case on Saturday. Let's talk about the temperatures. We've been looking at these beautiful temperatures the last several days. We're going into below normal temperatures. Now, as we go into 8, 14 days, we're kind of closer to the near normal to below normal. But bottom line, these warmer temperatures we've been experiencing the last several days, that's coming to an end. Now, minus this little spike on Saturday, once we settle in with these cooler temperatures, even as early as today, but especially tomorrow, we're going to keep it most likely below normal, upper 50s to low 60s on average. Now, we will see some spikes here and there, like I said, on Saturday. But really, that cooler pattern is really settling in here, most likely through the end of next week, if not longer. All right, your wave heights are looking pretty high for today. They're going to be even higher for your Thursday. Now, progressively through the day, the wave heights will increase. That's why the National Weather Service has issued a gale warning for this afternoon. Winds eventually coming in at about 20 to 25 knots from the south. All right, here's a look at your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. Here's what we have for Trinity County. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail with these 7-day forecasts. We already went through the timing at least through Saturday, and then anything after that, off and on chances for showers as we go into the second half of the weekend and through next week. But for today, you're mainly dry. Maybe a late afternoon, early evening shower or sprinkle, heavier rainfall coming in tonight and early tomorrow morning. Here's your Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast. Temperatures mainly in the 60s for your daytime highs today. You're also going to be fairly dry through the day today. Maybe some late afternoon and early evening showers. Heavier rainfall tonight, early tomorrow morning. Hoopa, Willow Creek, you're up to about 71 degrees today. 70 for a high today in Orleans. Gasquet, about 63. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Same story here. Mainly dry today, late afternoon, early evening showers. Heavier rainfall tonight, tomorrow morning. Scott Valley, you're seeing that fog, really dense fog this morning. So be aware of that. That should burn off, though, as we go through the morning hours. Take a look at to the central and eastern Siskiyou County, 50s, not even quite reaching 60s, so a little bit on the cool side. We're already starting to feel that cooler air move in. Modoc County, I think you're dry all day today. Then eventually by tonight, you see that rain move in and into tomorrow morning. And really wet throughout the day tomorrow. Here's your Eastern Mountains, Bernie, showers later this evening. Thursday, rain throughout the day, maybe some thunderstorms. And then, of course, you can see off and on chances for showers after that. Lake Amador and Lassen Park, upper 40s, low 50s for the park, and upper 50s to low 60s for the perimeter of the lake today. 62 degrees for Paradise, 61 degrees for Greenville, and Doyle about 66. All of the Eastern Mountains will be dry today, but by tonight, especially tomorrow morning, rain kicks in. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health. Temperatures mid to upper 60s. So yeah, we're starting to see the temperatures drop a bit. There's your 7-day forecast for Chico. Maybe some showers or a sprinkle late this afternoon. Heavier rainfall by tomorrow morning. Take you up to the north, 64 degrees for Redding, 59 for Whiskeytown and Lakehead, and 64 degrees in Palisadro. All right, here's a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding. And we've got temperatures kind of generally staying in the 50s and 60s. There is that little bit of a spike as we do go into Saturday with a high of about 72 degrees. So yeah, should be a beautiful start to your weekend. I mean, it's going to be great. Got outdoor plans. And honestly, Sunday, don't be concerned about that chance on Sunday at this point. If we do see the rain, it would be late in the day. But this is something I do need to really stress. After tonight and tomorrow morning's rainfall, and really tomorrow's rain, after that, the forecast models are a little bit all over the place with when we see breaks and when we see our next chances for rain. So, especially after tomorrow, you're going to want to keep a close eye on the forecast. And I can guarantee you that the 7-day forecast you see for anyone for here in Northern California will be changing from day to day as far as when we see chances for rain, temperatures, the works. But I think I'm pretty confident that Saturday will be the best day for completely dry conditions at this point. And then maybe a chance for some of those showers coming in Sunday and Monday. So should be interesting. Should be interesting indeed. Okay, so yes, I did have a little bit of a mic issue earlier. Thank you. I was able to catch it early enough at least. We'll figure that out. So there you go. People saying, yeah, lofty after the dog wash. Oh, we got Michael. Michael saying, good morning, Mike. Have a spectacular day. Looks like that is a new name. I haven't seen you commenting here on Facebook, so it's nice to see you. Good morning from Trinidad, one of our regulars, Jackie Dixon. Thank you for all of your hard work. I appreciate that. And Curtis Brown is saying, we're taking 36 west to Trinidad tomorrow morning. Doesn't look like snow will be an issue. You are right. I think snow levels will just be a little too high. 36, you are a brave soul, my friend. I've never driven Highway 36, but I have heard horror stories. Like, it is just a nightmare, just super windy and no fun. I think just for the sake of experiencing it and say I've done it, I'm going to have to do it one of these days. So, but like I say, Curtis, I am envious that you're heading out and going out to the coast. I am looking forward to a week off during Thanksgiving. Fingers crossed. Hopefully all the stars align just right. I've got a new person that I'm training. She will be starting, in fact, so it's beginning, I haven't talked to her in a few days, but Monday is now our confirmation date. Next Monday is when she will be on and make her debut. I will be with her, and we'll be kind of introducing her, getting her the ropes, and then she will then be filling in for me for the entire week of Thanksgiving. I'm very excited about that. In case something goes wrong, I'm going to have to bring all my gear to Mexico, because that's where I'm going, and see if she has any issues, then I can still log on and no need to worry. We'll have backups. So there you go. I'm seeing the can't hear yous and I'm like, no, that was when I fixed it pretty quickly. So there you go, folks. That's going to do it for us this morning. What do you say we kick it off or leave the show with a couple of cameras? And you know what? No, not just the cameras, but how about we start with the pictures of the aurora from last night. And remember, Last night we saw the aurora across the nation. There's a very good chance we could see it again here for tonight. And it looks like maybe even across the nation as well. So, could get interesting. The problem is for us, I think it'll be more cloudy than it was yesterday. As much as I hate to say it, but that may just be the case. So there's a look at Melissa. Thank you for sending in this photo. This is out in Derryville. This is in Castle. Let me turn the music down here. This is in Castle. Look at that. Thank you, Brian, for sending in that photo. And many other photos. We're going to leave you some of these from across the nation. In the meantime, you have yourselves a great day, folks. And we will see you right here on Coffee with Krueger tomorrow morning at 6:30. When the storm really will be pushing through. And that's when you're really going to want to watch so you know what's going on with the storm as it passed and as we can progress through the day tomorrow. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.